Now coming to the Satipatthana Sutta, I take this Satipatthana Sutta, the greater discourse on the foundations of mindfulness, which is the 22nd Sutta in the Digha Nikaya. The first part is the same. Thus have I heard, once the Lord was staying among the Kurus, there is a market town of theirs called Kamasadhamma. There the Lord addressed the monks. Lord, they replied, and the Lord said, there is monks, this one-way path for the purification of beings, for the overcoming of sorrow and distress, etc. And then after that, the Buddha talks about contemplation of the body. And how monks does a monk abide contemplating the body as a body? Here he says contemplating a body as a body, but Venerable Bhikkhu says body in the body. Here a monk, having gone to the forest or to the root of a tree or to an empty place, sits down cross-legged, holding his body erect, having established mindfulness before him. Some people like to ask, what is this having established mindfulness before him? Sometimes they translate as having established mindfulness in front of him. So people become confused. I think what he means is having first established mindfulness. Mindfully he breathes in, mindfully he breathes out. Breathing in a long breath, he knows that he breathes in a long breath. Breathing out a long breath, he knows that he breathes out a long breath. Breathing in a short breath, he knows that he breathes in a short breath. And breathing out a short breath, he knows that he breathes out a short breath. He trains himself thinking, I will breathe in conscious of the whole body, meaning the breath body. He trains himself thinking, I will breathe out conscious of the whole body. He trains himself thinking, I will breathe in calming the whole body conditioner, Kaya Sankara. This body conditioner in other suttas means the breath. Because the breath is the condition for the body to be alive. He trains himself thinking, I will breathe out calming the whole body conditioner. This as a skilled turner or his assistant in making a long turn knows that he is making a long turn, or in making a short turn knows that he is making a short turn. So too a monk in breathing in a long breath knows that he breathes in a long breath, and so forth. So I'll just stop here for a while. Here, so this person, when you are practicing Anapanasati, you are conscious of the breath body, and you are conscious of the whole breath body. This whole breath body, sometimes they say, the commentaries say, the beginning, the middle, and the end of the breath. But I think when you say the whole breath body, it means the whole breath. The whole breath. And books like the Visuddhimagga, they say when you practice Anapanasati, you must be conscious of it at one point. And they say at the tip of your nose or the top of your lips. This is not what the Buddha says. The Buddha says contemplate the whole breath. So I find there's nothing wrong if you follow the breath. If it feels natural to you, you do what is natural to you. If you feel that you're aware of the whole breath going in, down to your abdomen and coming out, you can follow. There's nothing wrong with it. Then later, if you keep following the breath, if after some time the breath may appear more obvious to you in a particular place, for example, at your nostril, or at your throat, or at your abdomen, then you can pay attention at one place later on. But in the beginning, just let it be natural, just observe the breath. And also don't put too much, don't force your mind too hard to know every step of the breath. Otherwise, because when you start meditating, your mind is not strong yet. No, it's just like carrying weights, You're carrying a dumbbell, you can't immediately carry 50 pounds. You must start with 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 20 pounds. Then your muscle builds up, then you can do it. So in the same way, when we start meditating, our mind doesn't have that muscle yet. So when you try to concentrate too hard, people get what Ajahn Brahm calls samadhi headache. So you just let it be natural, and slowly over time, you get used to that concentration. Don't force it too much. Then there's another paragraph that follows. So he abides contemplating body in the body internally, contemplating body in the body externally, contemplating body in the body both internally and externally. Here internally meaning your own body, externally meaning other people's body. He abides contemplating arising, here it says arising phenomena in the body. But Venerable Bhikkhu, other monks translate that he abides contemplating the body in its arising factors. He abides contemplating body in its vanishing factors, both arising and vanishing factors. Arising factors meaning the factors that make the body arise, and vanishing factors means the conditions, the factors that make the body cease. Or else mindfulness that there is body is present to him just to the extent necessary for knowledge and awareness. And he abides independent, not clinging to anything in the world. And that, monks, is how a monk abides contemplating body in the body. So here this sutta tells you how to practice the mindfulness of the body by watching the breath. And then the 4 postures. Again, monks, a monk when walking knows that he is walking, when standing knows that he is standing, when sitting knows that he is sitting, when lying down knows that he is lying down. Again, monks, a monk when going forward or back is clearly aware of what he is doing. In looking forward or back, he is clearly aware of what he is doing, etc. This one is sampajanya, practicing sampajanya. And then reflection on the 32 parts of the body. Again, the monk reviews this very body from the soles of the feet upwards and from the scalp downwards, enclosed by the skin full of manifold impurities. In this body there are head hairs, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinew, bone, etc. So this is another way of contemplating the body, by contemplating the 32 parts of the body. And the 4 elements. Again, you can contemplate the body through the 4 elements. That means there are in this body the earth element, the water element, the fire element, the air element. This earth element refers to the hardness element in your body. The water element refers to the cohesion element. The fire refers to the heat in your body, and the air refers to the wind element in your body. So our body, the physical body, has these 4 characteristics that make us see it as a body. And then the different types of corpses. Again, a monk, as if he were to see a corpse thrown aside in a charnel ground, 1 or 2 or 3 days dead, bloated, discolored, festering, compares this body with that, thinking, this body is of the same nature, it will become like that, it is not exempt from that fate. So here we think of different types of corpses, and we think one day our body is going to turn into the same type of corpse. So we see impermanence. And then how does a monk abide contemplating feelings as feelings or in feelings? Here a monk feeling a pleasant feeling knows that he feels a pleasant feeling. Feeling a painful feeling knows that he feels a painful feeling, etc. So you are aware of your different feelings arise and pass away. That is contemplating feelings. And how does a monk abide contemplating mind in the mind? Here a monk knows a lustful mind as lustful, a mind free from lust as free from lust, a hating mind as hating, a mind free from hate as free from hate, etc. So the state of your mind, you also have to be aware. And then contemplating of Dhamma. You contemplate the 5 hindrances, and then you contemplate the 5 aggregates, and then you contemplate the 6 internal and external sense bases, and the 7 factors of enlightenment. Now this Dhamma in other places, the Buddha did say that it's very important if you want to attain liberation to contemplate on the 5 aggregates. The 5 aggregates also is body and mind. And then another one quite important is the 6 bases, the 6 sense bases. And then the 4 noble truths. This in the 4 noble truths, in the Satipatthana Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, they only say a little bit about the 4 noble truths. Whereas the Maha Satipatthana It has a long explanation of the Four Noble Truths. What is the noble truth of suffering? Birth is suffering, aging is suffering. And what is birth, what is aging, etc. They explain. And then also they explain the dukkha, the origin of dukkha, the cessation of dukkha, and the path leading to the cessation of dukkha. So in this explanation of the path leading to the cessation of dukkha, the Noble Eightfold Path, they talk about right concentration. And right concentration here refers to the four jhanas. So even in the Satipatthana Sutta, you can find that right concentration means the four jhanas. And sometimes in some suttas, they say right concentration is one-pointedness of mind. A one-pointedness of mind also refers to the four jhanas. And this can be seen from Samyutta Nikaya 48.1.10. And then the last part, the conclusion of the Satipatthana Sutta, it says, whoever monks should practice these four intense states of mindfulness for just 7 years may expect one of two results, either arahantship in this very life, or if there should be some substrate left, a state of non-returner, that means anagamin. So if you practice Satipatthana for 7 years, you should expect to become an arahant or anagamin. And then the Buddha said, let alone 7 years, whoever should practice them for just 6 years can also attain. And then it says 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, let alone 1 year. If you practice this for 7 months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, half a month. And then finally the Buddha says, whoever should practice these four intense states of mindfulness for just 1 week may expect either one of two results, either arahantship in this very life, or should there be some substrate left, the state of non-return. So you see, if you practice correctly the Satipatthana, for 7 days you can expect to become an arahant. So this type of Satipatthana is not the type that a lot of people practice now. A lot of people, the type that they practice now, 70 years also cannot. So what the Buddha means is that your mindfulness is unremitting, non-stop, continual mindfulness. That's why the Buddha's time, the monks, they practice until they don't sleep. Their mindfulness is 24 hours a day. That's why when Mahamoggallana was striving very hard because he didn't sleep for a few days, in the middle of the night he was nodding already. He was trying to practice and nodding his head. Then the Buddha saw. Then the Buddha made a golden body come out of the head, went to him, and told him, Moggallana, and he got a shock. Saw the Buddha, the golden body of the Buddha, and Buddha told him, don't not more attention and practice harder. Then after that the Buddha went away. So he knew that the Buddha was watching him from far. They are not the head anymore. Practice very hard. 7 days became an arahant. That is the real Satipatthana, intense state, where they don't even sleep. That's why in the Vinaya books, an arahant is said to have sati, mindfulness, 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day. All arahants have 24 hours a day. If they don't have the four jhanas, how can they have 24 hours a day of mindfulness? The moment you fall asleep, you are no more mindful. But nowadays some monks say, you sleep mindfully. How can you sleep mindfully? Kun xian. That's the end here. You have any questions? What is Vipassana meditation? Firstly, Vipassana meditation started with Mahasi method. And the Vipassana meditation was based on the Visuddhimagga and on the commentaries. In the Visuddhimagga, they talk about 16 jnanas, 16 knowledges, which was not mentioned by the Buddha. And then in the commentaries, they say there are 5 types of arahants. The first type has 4 jhanas. The second type has 3 jhanas. And then 2 jhanas, 1 jhana, and 0 jhana. And they use this excuse that there can be an arahant with 0 jhana, and they invented the Vipassana meditation based on the 0 jhana. And they say this is pure Vipassana. So they are trying to find a shortcut to liberation without having to practice jhana. So when people start to criticize, saying that in the suttas the Buddha talked about jhana, then they invented another, what they call vipassana jhana. But there's no such thing as vipassana jhana. So when they talk about concentration, they talk about one-pointedness of mind. And their one-pointedness of mind is momentary concentration, meaning they see one object after another. But they don't know, actually it is mentioned in the suttas, that is the everyday mind. The Buddha gave a simile of the 6 animals that the hunter caught. The hunter caught 6 animals, eagle, a monkey, a snake, a crocodile, a dog, a hyena. And he tied a rope around the neck of the 6 animals, and the 6 ropes he tied into a knot, and then he let the animals loose. And then the animals will be heading off in 6 different directions. The eagle will want to fly into the air, the monkey up the tree, the snake into a hole in the ground, the crocodile wants to go into the river, the dog wants to go into town, the hyena wants to go up the hill. And they are pulling in 6 different directions. Whichever one is strongest, it pulls, the others have to follow him. After some time, he's tired. Another will pull, the others follow him. This the Buddha calls the unrestrained mind, undisciplined mind. So this is just the everyday mind, where your mind is going from one object to another. And this they call mindfulness. But this mindfulness you don't have to practice, you have it all the time. Where this momentary concentration, that is, everybody has that type of concentration. Even when you sleep, you're also mindful. You're mindful of your dream. When you start to have stray thoughts, you're also mindful. You're mindful of your stray thoughts. So that is no use at all. That's why sati does not mean that. Sati means to remember, to pull your attention from out of these 5 senses into the body and mind and the Dhamma. So the Vipassana meditation, originally you were supposed to be practicing on the 4 objects of sati, but later people misunderstand and people say it is general mindfulness. So that even when you are working also you are practicing meditation. You sweep the floor also you are practicing meditation. Whatever you do also, if you are mindful, you are practicing meditation. That is a distortion of facts. Some monks, because of not studying the suttas, they say it's general mindfulness. So that whatever you put your mind to, as long as you are aware of it, as long as you are mindful, you are practicing vipassana. Okay, just now the sutta says we are supposed to be practicing this Satipatthana all the time. Yeah. That means when you are sitting down in meditation, you practice, for example, anapanasati, because your object is trying to get one-pointedness of mind. Now, when you are not sitting down in meditation, if you are working, then of course you have to practice sampajanya. Whatever you are doing, you have to be mindful of what you do. For example, you cut vegetables, you are not mindful, you cut your finger. So when you are not working and you are not sitting in meditation, for example, you are sitting in a bus, then you put your attention on these 4 objects of Satipatthana. Don't let it have stray thoughts, think of this and that. That means either you think of the Dhamma you have learned, or you contemplate, for example, the corpses, the different type of corpses, or you contemplate the 32 parts of your body, or you contemplate the 4 elements of your body, or you're aware of your feelings as they arise and pass away, or you're aware of the perceptions or the thoughts in your mind as they arise and pass away. So all the time you put your attention on this. But when you're sitting down, you should try to attain one-pointedness of mind, jhana, by contemplating on. But when you are, for example, sitting in a bus or driving a car, you can't be doing your anapanasati. Then you're aware of your mind, or you're aware of the Dhamma. There's one sutta called the Danta Bhumi Sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 125. The Buddha said, "Come monks, abide contemplating the body in the body, but do not think thoughts connected with the body. Abide contemplating feelings as feelings, but do not think thoughts connected with feelings. Abide contemplating mind in the mind, but do not think thoughts connected with the mind. Abide contemplating Dhamma in Dhamma, but do not think thoughts connected with Dhamma." So here you're saying that you are just aware, but don't think. But when it comes to Dhamma, just now I read one sutta, when you reflect on Dhamma, you can think about it. But feelings, you don't think. Feelings, you are just aware that feelings arise and pass away. So just don't attach to it. Contemplating the 32 parts of the body, you can either do it slow or you do it fast. You chant the 32 parts of the body. If you chant slow, then you contemplate one by one. Head, hair, you think of the nature of head, hair. Body hair, think of the nature of body hair. Nails, teeth, skin, flesh, like that. But if you want to practice concentration, then you chant fast. Without thinking. Just to keep the mind from thinking. Depending on the state of your mind. That's why the Buddha said about the cook who observes what his boss likes to eat. So in the same way, we have to observe our mind. If your mind is, for example, your mind is weak, you tend to think a lot, or you tend to fall asleep easily, then you need to practice concentration. So you do your chanting all the time. Don't let the mind become weak. So we have to be very observant of the state of our mind. That's why I say that you pick up the sign of your mind. During the Buddha's time, the Buddha did not teach lay people meditation. Buddha asked the lay people to know the Dhamma, the suttas. Because it's actually very difficult for lay people to practice meditation. When you have to worry about your family, worry about how to earn your livelihood and all these things, it's very hard. Otherwise, why do we become monks? If we can practice at home and at the same time enjoy life. Just like a lot of people, they want to put their feet in two boats. Enjoy life as well as want to become an anagamin. You see, when you say perfect sila, you're talking about the seven precepts, 3 body precepts and 4 verbal precepts, plus right livelihood. There's Aryan Sila. So it's not that difficult. The Buddha says that Arya has perfect Sila, but it does not mean he does not break the minor precepts. Arya can still break the minor precepts, but he does not hide. Putujana, he does something wrong, he tries to hide. But Arya is very straightforward, he does something wrong, he will say. So the standard of perfect Sila is not that high. That's why in one sutta, Sarakani Sutta, one man used to drink and then a lot of people didn't believe that he was a Satipatthana. And this sutta, I like to stress here that after the Buddha heard that a lot of people did not believe him, that Sarakani is a Sotapanna, then the Buddha said, why should not Sarakani be a Sotapanna? He has learned the Dhamma for a long time, practiced the Dhamma for a long time. Then the Buddha said, don't talk about Sarakani. The Buddha said, look at these trees. If these trees can understand what I say, even they also can become a Sotapanna. If Sotapanna is by meditation, the Buddha would have said, if these trees know how to meditate, I teach them meditation, they also can become Sotapanna. The Buddha did not say that. The Buddha said that if they can understand what I say, they can distinguish what is good, what is bad. They also can become Sotapanna, which shows very clearly that Sotapanna is by listening to the Buddha's words, by meditation.
Okay, just now you also mentioned that Buddha mentioned there are 5 ways to liberation. one is believing Dharma, teaching Dharma, reflecting on Dharma, and the last one is meditation.
On the Samadhi Nimitta.
On the Samadhi Nimitta. Doesn't that mean that you don't need Dharma as long as you meditate on the Samadhi Nimitta, then you can...
No. These are the 5 occasions of liberation. At the moment that person becomes liberated, it's only during these 5 occasions, no other occasion. So, for example, the person who listens to the Dhamma and becomes an Arahant, if he does not have the 4 jhanas, it's not possible for him to become liberated. But it is possible for him to listen to the same Dhamma and become a stream enterer. 2 persons listening to the same sutta, different result. One with jhana can become an Arahant. The one without jhana can become a stream enterer. See, a lot of people they jump into meditation without studying the suttas. And many of them, they don't know that they are either practicing the wrong meditation or the wrong way of meditating because they have full faith in their teacher. They forget that the teacher is not the Arahant. Once a person has attained 4 jhanas, the sutta says that many things it becomes very clear to him. Because once he attains the 4 jhanas, he eliminates the 5 hindrances. It's not like some vipassana teachers say that when you are in jhana, you eliminate the 5 hindrances. When you come out of jhana, the 5 hindrances come back. Not like that one. In the suttas, once you attain the jhanas, you come out of jhana also, the hindrances are eliminated already. That's why in the sutta, the Buddha says, when a person, even before he attains the jhana, when he attains threshold concentration or excess concentration, the 5 hindrances already fall away. And then he becomes very happy, as though the debt that he owed has paid back, is free. And a lot of similes are given, as though he's freed from prison and all that. Just now I read to you that Sutta, this one, Majjhima Nikaya 68. While he still does not attain to the delight and pleasure, piti and sukha, that are secluded from sensual pleasures and secluded from unwholesome states, meaning the first jhana, or to something more peaceful than that, meaning the higher jhanas. Covetousness, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and remorse, doubt, discontent, weariness, invade his mind and remains. When he attains to the delight and pleasure that are secluded from sensual pleasures and secluded from unwholesome states, or to something more peaceful than that, covetousness, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and remorse, doubt, discontent, weariness do not invade his mind and remain anymore. Basically, dependent origination, there is not much to understand. Just that everything in this world arises through conditions. There's nothing that exists by itself. That's why when Venerable Ananda, he told the Buddha, he said he understands dependent origination. He is very clear about it. I think it's very simple. And the Buddha said, don't say so. Dependent origination is very deep. Actually, in the Vinaya books, even after the Buddha was enlightened, he wanted to understand dependent origination. He sat through the whole night, looking, using his psychic power to see beings and how they arise and pass away and everything. He spent 4 hours seeing how dependent origination arises. Then another 4 hours how it ceases. And then another 4 hours how it arises and ceases. After 12 hours only, then he could see he really understood. And because he had seen it with his psychic eye, then he sees it's very profound. Whereas Ananda, without his psychic eye, he could just understand it superficially, so he thought it's very simple. Actually, in the suttas, you're supposed to get jhana first, then only practice this, what the Buddha calls radiation of loving kindness by the mind. So, if you don't have samadhi, strong concentration, you only imagine you radiate metta, but nobody can feel it, is it? When I was a small boy, I was in a Catholic school. So these Christian brothers used to give us photos, holy pictures, of the saints. Sometimes you see the saint, the deer will come to him, the birds will sit on his shoulder, on his head, because he has so much metta, the animals can feel it, they can come. But that is real metta. So, like the Buddha in the suttas, he says he radiates his loving kindness on 1/4 of the world, then another quarter, then a quarter. Actually, there's something that goes out and say other beings can feel. But for most people, we imagine virtual reality. In fact, when I first came into the Dhamma, when I was very new to the Dhamma, so I studied the Dhamma, then I found compassion and metta, all this very appealing. So that time I was working in Kuantan with our Major Lim here. We were in the same army camp. And we learned Kung Fu from one old man, was very good in Kung Fu. So one day I followed that old man to the forest. He wanted to look for herbs. So then when I remembered the metta and all that, and compassion, so when I was in the forest, I thought there's a lot of unseen beings around. So I thought of loving kindness towards them and all that. That night when I came back, I had such a sweet and pleasant dream. The next morning when I woke up, I felt so special that night. So maybe the devas also give me metta. Also another time I was practicing this compassion and metta. And I found at night when I slept, I had all these cartoon dreams, Fairy tale, so nice. Walt Disney. Actually, our dreams actually tell us something about our state of our mind as well. If you have good dreams, it's a good sign. Bad dreams is a bad sign.